We're going to go with a CBD and cannabis coverage for your business. And Chris and Troy are going to bring that to us. Thanks, Chris and Troy.
Hello, thank you guys very much for having us. We certainly appreciate the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about CBD hemp cannabis insurance, kind of what it looks like on our side from the carrier underwriting side, things to look out for your guys' vendors, and just any way we can assist. So we appreciate the opportunity. I'm coming to you from Salt Lake City. My partner Troy Smith is on the call. He has my name, Chris Martin, up there. And then also Larry Allred for Insurance Canopy, who is the retail arm of Veracity Insurance. We're an underwriting brokerage firm. I'm an agent for them. I have a number of direct clients along with a wholesaler for retail insurance agents. And then Canopy is our retail partner. So hoping I can help demystify the hemp CBD cannabis confusion, do my best to tell you where we're at in the space, and then hopefully answer all your guys' questions. And again, just very appreciative of this opportunity. Thank you guys so much. So I'm going to share my screen. I've got a nice little PowerPoint that I didn't put together, but let's hope it looks good for you guys. All right. Is that coming up or no?
Yep, looks good. When you go full screen, there you go. You gotta go to full presentation mode.
Sorry, I'm new to all this at-home work and stuff.
So we all are. That's okay.
All right. For some reason, this is not coming up for me. Sorry about that.
It's okay. We can see your presentation. It's just put up into presentation. It's not the single slide. I can just see the couple slides on the side as well.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not coming up for me on my side. I do apologize for that. But you can see the presentation on, let's go over here. Okay, so can you guys see that? I'm sorry. Is that, okay. The disclaimers for this isn't, we're not lawyers. We didn't, come up with, we're not the FDA. We're just here to tell you as far as what insurance is willing to cover at this time. So policies are different. Each policy is going to be different pertaining to each insured. And so we want to make sure that's perfectly clear here. What's in a name? Let's see. So are you guys on the what's in a name screen right now?
No, so it looks like maybe, are you working on dual monitors?
Yes.
Looks like we might be seeing a different, we see the disclaimer. There we go.
Okay.
Now go down to the bottom of your screen, your PowerPoint screen by the slider to the bottom right.
Sorry guys.
That full presentation mode.
Right.
One more over.
Right there?
Yeah, you got it.
Perfect. There you go.
Wow, amazing. Yeah,
Nice. 44
years old. My 5-year-old knows more about this stuff than I do. So, okay, here we go. This is our opinion. It's anecdotal. You need an attorney to review everything, make sure everything is reviewed by them. We're not contract attorneys, we're insurance agents. There's a difference. So the terms of presentations for informational purposes only. Coverage determinations, just review to your specific policy documents. If by chance you have a policy in place right now, we're happy to help you out with that to review. So what's in a name? Cannabis, marijuana, hemp, weed, kush, bud, green, and many, many more. So these are things that are actually insurable, believe it or not, where just a few short years ago they were not. Welcome to the cannabis family. What is cannabis? Cannabis is the botanical name of a plant species. There are multiple strains of the cannabis plants. 2 of the most common strains are Cannabis sativa. This is where your hemp comes from, along with marijuana. And then indica. that is the marijuana that is going to possess mainly THC and the one that will get you high. There's two little pictures. Sativa is a little bit more of a thin-leafed plant. Indica is a little bit more fatter and shorter, just if you wanted to know. Hemp versus marijuana. This is going to be cannabis, so it's all cannabis as far as hemp and marijuana, indica versus sativa, but the hemp plant contains less than 0.3% THC content. Generally used to describe non-intoxicating cannabis that is harvested for the industrial use of its derived products. It's been recorded throughout history. It's actually found products 10,000 years old. Marijuana, cannabis containing more than 0.3% THC. Can induce psychotropic and euphoric effects on user. And actually got its name roughly between 1910 and 1920. The term marijuana arose as a negative correlation to the cannabis product because mainly the US was being supplied through Mexico. So it got that term. Not exactly fair, but it is what it is. Hemp-derived CBD versus marijuana-derived CBD. CBD can be derived from either hemp or marijuana. So what is actually the difference? According to a scientist here at Mary's Nutritionals, the molecule is the same from the marijuana or the hemp plant. But is it okay if we get it from either or? And the answer very much is no. You cannot get your CBD from a marijuana high THC content plant. You can, however, get CBD legally from a hemp plant, which is low THC, if none, and then would be protected by the 2018 Farm Bill, removing hemp from the schedule list. Confusion about the Farm Bill. Hemp and hemp-derived products, including hemp-derived CBD, were legalized except for marijuana CBD in 2018. The 2018 Farm Bill explicitly applies to hemp and hemp-derived products only, so no marijuana, no high THC plants. Based on the guidance of the DEA, CBD is still considered a Schedule I controlled substance if derived from the marijuana plant containing more than 0.3% THC. It does not include marijuana-derived CBD, which remains under the regulation of the FDA as a controlled substance, which I'm sure is a major concern for a lot of the vendors or market managers. Even if the CBD contains 0% THC, if it's derived from marijuana, high THC plant, it's not legalized under the 2018 Farm Bill. Over 50,000 uses for the hemp plant: textiles, clothing, canvases, tarps, paper, printing, foods, seed oil, protein powders, supplements, building materials, varnishes, fuel, solvents, fiberboard, body care, which is huge right now for the topical CBD space, soaps, shampoos, lotions, balms, cosmetics. They're all derived from different parts of the plant. You see the seeds, the leaves, the roots, they're all providing different components for the CBD products. There's hemp oil, there's CBD oil. What's the difference? Hemp oil comes from the cannabis sativa plant seeds. They're just the seeds, so it's not actually going to be the plant or the leaves as some would expect. It's from just seeds through cold pressing. The cold pressing process is where your hemp products are mainly coming from. Helps maintain integrity and pureness of the seed oil through the cold pressing process. No cannabinoids, CBD and THC are present in the seeds of hemp plants. Considered a superfood for its high levels of omegas naturally found in the oil. So there's hemp, there's CBD, and there's THC products out there. CBD oil, cannabinoid found in the cannabis hemp plant leaves, stems, and flowers, not the seeds. So after it's grown up big and tall. You've got CBD extracts, the isolate. This is just the CBD isolated from all of the other components of the plant. Full spectrum CBD, however, is pure oil from the cannabis plant, leaf, stem, or flower that offers the entourage effect. The entourage effect is preferred to the isolate primarily due to there are other calming effects from other cannabinoids. If it's just isolate, you're just getting the CBD. If there is a full spectrum CBD, you are can anticipate other calming effects. There is some THC typically in there, under 0.3, and then some other variants that'll help you feel better. So people do prefer full spectrum CBD overall, per the articles that we're reading. So full spectrum is preferred extraction because you get not only the benefits of CBD, but also other cannabinoids found in the plant.
Hey, Chris,
Yes.
could you just for a second speak to how the Farm Bill played out, especially with the state of Kentucky, in relation to the difference between the cannabis versus the hemp?
Well, the Farm Bill, basically, Mitch McConnell got through because it's the tobacco industry is suffering, and so they're now looking at hemp as a replacement crop. So, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, as far as just how those two separated and how one was able to get into law and one wasn't, as far as even though they're similar.
Yeah, so the the federal stance on any marijuana, high THC containing plants, is still Schedule 1. However, the states are doing their thing separately and leaving each other alone primarily. So the 2018 Farm Bill was for hemp and hemp only. That had nothing to do with removing the marijuana cannabis plant from the Schedule 1 list. But of course, the federal government and the state governments are cooperating with, letting the states do their own thing.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. So why is CBD and hemp something we even started focusing on a few years back? This is why. $23 billion, prior COVID, prior everything, was potentially anticipated in this industry, where it was only a few hundred million just a couple years ago. So there is a ton of upside. It's a completely new silo of business that wasn't there before, that is here in our lifetimes, and something that we can definitely take advantage of, obviously, if done right. Researchers anticipate 2.7 million acres of hemp planted by 2023. Currently, Colorado is the fastest growing hemp cultivator, followed by Oregon and Montana. Numbers of acres per state will be in the hundreds of thousands. Random fact, average age of CBD product customer, 43 years old. And here are the top selling products in the space that we're insuring right now. Ingestible, so that's going to be tinctures, gummies, edibles, things of that nature, anything that goes inside. Topicals will be your skincare products, things of that nature, things that are topical, go on your face, body. Inhalables, this is going to be flower and vape products, very, very big in the space. The actual quickest way to have the CBD or THC get into your system is through inhalation. So the vaporizer products are good. We've seen inhalers. We've seen all sorts of different products coming onto the market that we're looking at to insure. And then also pet products. So doggy treats, we've got some for our dog here. They're huge. It's one of the biggest growing parts of the CBD space right now. Hemp sales projections. This is different than the CBD, but the actual hemp itself, see major gains in sales, increased by 100 million over 2022. Farm Bill plays a key role in the sales increases due to removing it from the Schedule 1 list, making it legal. USDA estimates the following per acre gross revenues. It's pretty huge variance right here from flower. You got 2,300 per acre to 24,000 per acre. Hemp fiber varieties, $23 to $1,200 per acre. Hemp grain varieties, $87 to $453 per acre. Where are the business opportunities in this space? There are a lot of them. Third-party testing facilities, hemp processors, brick and mortar stores. So your retail outlets, hemp processors are taking the hemp and they're extracting the CBD, the isolate out of it. There's got to be a third-party COA testing facility. This will get into helping alleviate some stress of bringing on some of these CBD hemp vendors with the testing. Contract research organizations, farming cloning greenhouses, online sales, that's booming obviously, it's the Wild West right now. Marketing, domain names, just go start reserving domain names. Television and social media advertising. There's a lot of different opportunities in this space. Supply chain from seed to sale. There's potentially millions of jobs here. What are the concerns? False claims. This is big. You can't promise your product will cure cancer, fibromyalgia. It's not going to remove a rash. You just can't promise it. If you do, you're in trouble, especially if it doesn't work. Drug interactions. There's potential through the Epidiolex FDA testing. There were some potential drug interactions. If you're taking certain drugs, CBD was shown to heighten or decrease other drugs' severity, I guess, potential recourse. Ingredients are inaccurate. There's a lot of testing going on by the FDA, and right now most products out there are not accurate for what they are claiming to be, from what they're saying they can help, to how much CBD is in the product, to actual ingredients they're putting in the product. Once tested, a lot of them are inaccurate. Proper consumption, dosing. You've got to make sure that people are taking the right amounts at the right time. Battery exposure when vaping. So mentioned vape before, there are a number of battery claims in the vape space. That's actually one of the biggest vape claims out there are batteries. So definitely a concern for the insurance industry. Underage usage, obviously a huge concern. Contaminated raw materials. Things that can all get you in the space. Many carriers are not willing to write cannabis insurance. So this is more, we write CBD, hemp, and cannabis insurance. So the cannabis industry's inability to bank, these are concerns on the cannabis side. The federal versus state illegality, which is probably a concern on all of our sides right now. How can we allow somebody who has CBD edibles to sell their product and it be okay? The federal says no, and then the state says we're indifferent, we're working it out. So how do we do that? Unknown risk associated with insurance, cannabis business. There's just not enough data, it's new. However, insurance is essential to the security and safety of the cannabis businesses, their employees, and their customers. Lack of insurance for the industry adds layers of unnecessary risk and exposure for all market participants. We need to be covered. If there's something that goes wrong, there has to be coverage for it. Who do we cover? We cover in the cannabis industry, manufacturers, the edibles, the vape products, those folks that are in a dispensary, indoor and outdoor cultivators, product distributors, greenhouses, dispensaries, labs, the ones testing, medical offices, the ones prescribing, chefs and instructors, the ones who are baking it, bakeries, processing operations, CBD stores and warehouses, also in the cannabis space. So where does Veracity, where can we help as far as coverages go? General liability is one of the must-haves, the basics of insurance coverages. It's premises liability. Premises liability is trip and fall for a customer. If they were to walk into your store, trip and fall over a box, and then file a claim, that's what general liability is basically for. The next one, which creates comprehensive general liability, is products and completed operations. So you don't just want trip and fall at your store. You want your product to be covered if somebody bought it in your store, took it home, and got hurt. Bodily injury were to occur, some sort of reaction. We cover that. Employee benefits. If benefits are explained wrong, we've got coverage for that. Herbicide and pesticide applicators coverage, hired and non-owned auto, and then trade show and special events coverages as well, which are very applicable here.
Chris, before you go on, I'm just curious, Brad, question for you.
Yes.
How have you received any inquiries at your particular farmers market, for instance, of folks that want to sell CBD infused products?
Yeah, so actually at our market, we had a lady this last year that I found had a CBD product on her table. And I was like, well, do you know if you can have that? I don't think so. So yeah, actually we do. And our board, we have specific rules at our market towards alcohol and drugs, and marijuana is on there. And so, yeah, finding this balance now of what a CBD product would be allowed at our market or not is definitely a feeling of gray area for us.
Definitely.
Yeah. Is with other with other farmers market managers in Alaska, do you have any sense, Brad, or as well as the other folks, of just how many actually allow products now and how many don't, or how many are on the fence and kind of are just really hesitant because of just not really sure how to move forward?
I'm not sure of any right now that are allowing CBD at the markets due to the uncertainty of testing and insurance also, but of regulations. I think the testing piece, if you guys wanted to speak to that and how that's being streamlined, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Hey, Brad. David Shady, our Division of Agriculture Director, just had a comment for us in the chat box if you want to read it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking at it right now. In order to sell CBD in Alaska, you must be registered with the Division of Agriculture's Industrial Hemp Pilot Program, which I believe goes live tomorrow. Is that right? So, yeah, as far as illegalities of Alaska versus California versus Utah, it is going to be very state specific. I'm not going to tell you that you can sell CBD products legally per the FDA. I'm going to tell you how we are able to insure them. So we can insure these products in Alaska. We can insure them across all 50 states and actually worldwide. But there are definitely tons of things that need to be worked out with the FDA versus state versus federal. The federal government says THC is illegal across the board, yet there's dispensaries operating all over the place. So we're going to tell you how we protect our carriers and make sure these products are covered. But as far as who's going to be able to sell it in Alaska, that's not what I can tell you right now. But I can tell you we have hundreds, if not thousands now, of these clients and what the carriers are looking for to protect themselves from being on the hook for a claim. So hopefully that helps.
So you would be able to provide insurance to the folks that are registered with the Division of Agriculture in Alaska, but nobody else?
We can provide insurance for basically anybody who's a licensed, for a business entity who sells CBD hemp products, but the insurance carriers are requiring a lot in order to do so. So if you have a vendor who has a certificate of insurance showing that they've got 1 million per occurrence, 2 million aggregate products and completed operations coverage they've been through a pretty stringent test underwriting process, and there have been third-party COAs verified, their labels, their ingredients, their marketing claims are all looked at, and they are good to go as far as the carrier is concerned. Now, selling it at your guys' market today, that is obviously something that is not, needs to be worked through the state and federal portion. But the FDA they have approved Epidiolex. There's a CBD drug right now that's approved. They just need more human studies, clinical studies, to make sure that CBD taken in large doses across the entire country or world continuously is not going to lead to long-term problems. But right now, carriers are in this space. So if a carrier is willing to cover this, then they're feeling very good about where the space is at now, safety-wise, or else they just wouldn't. We covered a lot of vape insurance. We have a huge vape insurance program, and things change on a dime. Coverages were here 1 minute and gone the next. So these carriers are dealing with the claims, and they're the ones really who are kind of telling, they're driving what's okay and what's not. We've noticed a huge increase in business interruption claims. They're all taking a big look at, business interruption is associated with property covered and a direct physical loss, not a pandemic destroying the world's economy. But all the carriers are looking at their forms better to make sure that, do they want to get drawn into a claim that it was vague on their language. And so the fact that a carrier is willing to cover right now does mean a lot. These guys do not put $1 million per claim on just anything or anybody. They do feel good as to what data they have current. So.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. As far as other lines we cover, there's a huge property component to this as well. So the finished stock is what's on the shelves in your dispensaries, on the tables, on the shelves in a CBD retail store, finished stock. This is for cannabis and CBD. Harvested cannabis material is the flowers that are picked but not officially processed in the products. Property off premises. These guys are transporting from cultivator to extractor to store to customers to warehouses. They need coverage for that as well. And then, of course, spoilage coverage. Things go bad after a while. So those are lines of businesses that we've been covering a lot here lately. Here are the typical topical types of businesses we see: beauty, CBD candles, essential oils, hair care, spa supplies, toiletries, just topical. Anything that is beauty related, put CBD in it, and it's out there, and we'll cover it. We have an in-house beauty products program that only we have here that will cover topical products very, very competitively in the space. And then the next are ingestible products. So you got topical and ingestibles, tinctures, pet supplements, nutraceuticals, vitamins, herbs, energy, protein, cleansers, suppositories, you name it. Literally everything that is out there is now having CBD put in it as well. So hence the potential $23 billion in growth. It's literally being put in everything and then being billed as the next greatest cure-all. Costs. So I mentioned the general liability, which is premises, trip, and fall coverage. That is going to be less than these prices. These prices include product liability for bodily injury to third parties. So beauty products, the topicals, our in-house beauty products program starts at a $2,500 minimum premium. And that is for a 1 million occurrence, 2 million general aggregate. You can list additional insureds on there for vendors or trade shows, markets, designated other persons. That, to our knowledge, is the most competitive price for products liability in this space for topicals. Next is ingestibles, supplements, tinctures, gummies, food, drink, $3,500 minimum premium if it goes in your body. Now, hemp flower and vape products are another level, which aren't on here. They're typically $5,000 per policy. And that's including product liability insurance as well. The pricing is getting more competitive on the vape due to the fact that a lot of the claims were related to illegal black market vitamin E acetate, THC cartridges, not exactly vape. You know, the regular vape with nicotine in it that you see, but 5,000 is where it was at just a few weeks ago. But we have been seeing some pullback on the hemp flower and vape pricing. So beauty, topical, 2,500, ingestibles, 3,500, vape hemp flower around 5,000. Other cannabis exposures varies based on revenue and class of business. The extraction facilities, you know, if you're a cultivator with 100 acres versus a cultivator with 1,000 acres, the pricing will change based on that as you get out of the minimum premium threshold, which is typically up to 250,000 in sales. Once you hit 250,000 in sales, then the pricing would go up from these prices listed here. The dispensaries at 750 or the cultivators at 1,000. That's for just general liability only. There's no product liability in there for those guys. Pricing goes up from there. So that is basically my presentation in a nutshell. I guess Q&A and then our resources.
Well, it looks like there's some questions, definitely a couple of questions here, feedback as well as questions that perhaps, can you see the chat area, Chris?
Yes. Yes, so from Robert, please do not call industrial hemp-based products medical remedies. Yes, the claims. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to solve anything. You want to be very vague in your claims made on these products. They're not. The FDA will rain down on you. That's what they're looking for, people who are promising something to fix something. We do product liability as well. And I got a disinfectant called the COVID killer just a couple days ago, and it's just like, no, there's not a carrier in the world who's going to touch something like that. You can't put, that's ridiculous. So watch your claims. It's what the carriers are looking for. They want a final label, they want ingredients, and then as importantly, they want, what are you claiming this product is going to do and how is it going to do it? So you definitely want to stay away from direct claims in a certain time period. May help, could calm, calming, relaxing, fine, but curing cancer, no, don't do that. Let's see, Jerica, have they been illegally selling CBD products this whole time? I've spoken to multiple people who buy CBD oil, edibles, and pet products from the cannabis stores. So again, the way that these retailers can protect themselves is by making sure these products are covered. Is it illegal? Yeah, the FDA does not want you putting CBD in food and making any sort of health-related claims about it. However, it's again one of those things where the FDA can't get a hold of how quickly this has grown. So there just aren't arrests. There's 15 notices, I think, just sent out by the FDA last week to vendors. But as far as arrests or operations being shut down, we're not hearing anything about it. And again, with the A+ rated insurance carrier space in here, these products have been, there's third-party COAs that are verified. There are labels with ingredients verified and marketing claims. So the FDA is more than likely going to stay away from those types of manufacturers. However, until all of the framework is built out, which could take years, we could be in this very gray space where people are selling it. There could be some sort of repercussions to that. However, we're not hearing or seeing any of that at this time in our world.
Interesting.
How is a CBD oil extracted from the hemp plant? It is, it's extracted from a number of different ways. Ethanol is an extraction method that is not preferred. And then the hydrocarbon, non-hydrocarbon extractions. There's a number of different ways that the CBD oil is extracted, but I don't do that part. So I will tell you that right now. I'm not going to pretend that I could take a hemp plant and turn it into a hemp product for you, but I can certainly tell you how to cover it and what would be needed in order to do so. So if you are working with a CBD vendor, the first thing to do is just ask them, do you have insurance? And if they do, then at least you know they're on the right track, because you don't get insurance in today's day and age for CBD products without somebody looking at it, verifying, reviewing the third-party COA, and making sure that it's safe per their guidelines. And their guidelines are going to be more restrictive than not. So if somebody does have coverage, then at least they have been reviewed, looked at, and approved by a carrier. And if there is a bodily injury or property damage claim created by use of their product, there's a response from the carrier built in. Are there any more questions?
Really appreciate you guys coming on and talking about insurance. And
yeah, I'm sure it's very exciting for you guys.
It's something right now. It's some of what all the market managers are dealing with every market. We're all required to have vendor insurance. And yeah, it's good to bring this out. And definitely some questions came up about CBD that some of us didn't know. And yeah, I think this is going to be a quickly evolving product up here.
Yeah, the growth
coming out tomorrow.
The growth is exponential on our end. We started focusing on it a few years back, got ourselves in a good position with the right carriers, and it's exploding as far as our business is concerned. Even in today's day, a few weeks into this thing, we're still getting applications and people are still chugging along, moving forward with their business ideas. We do cover a lot of new ventures, so of course everybody's suffering, but this space, you know, is big, especially once the gray is figured out with the FDA and putting CBD into those products. But the good news is at least we can cover it. If there is a claim related to it and it's been verified, approved, and it's on the policy, there will be a response. So, you know, that's definitely a good, big, huge step in the right direction, because a couple of years ago it wasn't that way. So they are moving forward with it.